Outa Road with me, Kerlyn Brown, right here on CVM TV.
One,
Take it away,
two,
Theo.
3, 4. There you go, Tika. So we're gonna sing it.
What are we gonna do with it? Now that we've found love, what are we gonna do with it? Woo!
That's all right.
So here we are in Manhattan at the Korean barbecue and hot pot. And what chances are you would see someone tapping on the table? So I just really wanted to find out, what was it about him? It's a male, I can tell you. And he seems quite taken up with music. Hey, I need to interfere with this. First of all, it is New Year's Day. Happy New Year to
New
you.
Year's, yeah.
What's your name?
My name is Theo.
And where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota.
Minnesota. What brought
Yeah.
you to New York, Phil?
So I came to New York this year to visit my girlfriend's family in the Bronx. Yeah.
In the Bronx. You know there are lots of Jamaicans living in the Bronx.
There are a lot of Jamaicans living in the Bronx. I've had the pleasure of spending this Christmas and New Year's with all of my partner's Jamaican family, and it's been wonderful.
She is a Jamaican.
Yes, she's
You got a
Jamaican, born
Jamaican
and
girl
raised.
just
Yes.
like that?
Yep.
And you know, I saw you doing the drumming. Tell me a little about that. Are you into drumming or what?
Yeah, so I'm a drummer and I've been a musician my entire life. Since I was 9 years old, I picked up the drum kit. And yeah, music runs in my family. Both my parents are musicians and my grandfather is a musician and my great-grandfather was a violin maker. So I come from a decent lineage of musicians and I started at a young age.
What type of music are you into though?
I'm into every kind of music. I've played rock music, I've played country, I got started with Polish polkas, I played some African music, and I've played jazz and just a little bit of everything.
Quite a nice mix there.
Yeah.
But the drumming though, well, apart from your parents having, being musically inclined, or they are musically inclined, I think
Yeah.
they're still alive.
Yeah, they're still alive. Both my
Awesome.
parents,
What made you jump into it apart from that?
I think I always sort of found myself able to lock on to rhythms and melodies from a young age, and I always found it as sort of a way to express my feelings. Or when I was a kid, I was in all sorts of stuff like monsters and Frankenstein and dragons and just fantastical things, but through music I felt like I could create like sounds that like can follow my imagination.
Yeah.
Like my imagination can be within these sounds.
It takes you places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jamaica is music.
Yeah, no. Amazing music.
Right, and you have a Jamaican girlfriend, but have you had contact with Jamaican musicians?
I haven't had the chance to play with any Jamaican musicians yet, even though I love Jamaican music. I actually grew up listening to a lot of Jamaican music. I grew up listening to Bob Marley, Steel
Oh yeah,
Pulse,
I was waiting.
Steel Pulse, Third World, Peter Tosh, King Tubby, even some dub stuff. And I grew up listening to dubstep and electronic music that descends from Jamaican music and dub. And I just love the history and wealth of music that's come out of Jamaica. The whole world's been inspired by Jamaican music, and I think that's really amazing.
I like the fact that you touched on history.
Yeah.
What about anything that you have picked up along the way in your readings that has motivated you?
Geez, the history of music. I've sort of been a fan of studying the history of jazz music and sort of the lineage of where a lot of rhythms that people today use and are commonplace in popular music and all kinds of music, even rock music. A lot of the rhythms, if not most of the rhythms, come from Africa that everyone uses. It's sort of become the global language of music. And even if you look at some Middle Eastern rhythms, you can hear how they are similar to some West African rhythms, and then you can hear how some of those West African rhythms are similar to some of the Caribbean rhythms, and then how those rhythms came from the Caribbean to the U.S. and are similar to like a lot of rhythms used in like jazz and hip hop and other very American genres of music. And you can kind of see how one person how the beats and syncopations and rhythms came around the whole world, and even
they're all intertwined.
Latin American rhythms and Brazilian rhythms are all intertwined,
yes.
And it creates this one sort of beautiful language that we can all play on the instrument. And especially when I'm teaching drum lessons, I try and get my students to understand that as a percussionist and a drummer, you are playing an ensemble of percussion instruments, and it is a language that is as ancient as humanity is. And you should have a global vocabulary. You should be able to play Latin rhythms, you should be able to play Caribbean rhythms, you should be able to play a soca beat, you should be able to play blues, jazz, you should be able to play all these things, and reggae too, yeah. The one drop where the kick is on the snare on the 2 and the 4, and some of those syncopated hi-hat patterns are nice, right?
Awesome.
And those rhythms, everyone should have a global vocabulary. Even if you don't think you're going to go tomorrow night and play in a reggae band, you should still have that vocabulary. I think so. And
that's a sound message for the world.
Yeah, that's a sound message for the world.
Take me out with something on the drums.
All right.
On the drums. Let's go, drums. And that's Theo on drums right here. Happy New Year to you.
All right, Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for talking with me. And that's how it is, Outa Road in New York.
All right.
Outa Road with me, Kerlyn Brown, right here on CVM TV, uncovering unique stories, vibrant personalities, and learning at every turn.